Hey
Cool.
Slash,
Hi.
how are you?
Sorry, with a lot of technical issues on my end over here.
Oh,
Anyway,
no worries. I love your shirt, by the way. Incredible Nosferatu shirt.
huh, cool.
Um, cool. So I'm gonna do just a little
Very
intro.
excited about that movie.
Oh my God,
Well,
the Eggers version of
yeah,
Nosferatu.
yeah. That's I've been I'm constantly looking at the trays to see like, is it coming? Is it coming?
So wait, so is Nosferatu like one of your favorite movies?
Well, yeah. I mean, I was always a big Dracula guy, and
Okay.
that to me was always the real story. That version of it is just so fucking raw.
Yeah, you should when the last voyage of Demeter comes out, which comes
I'm
out.
waiting for that too. It comes out
It,
soon, right?
I've seen it. It's really good, especially if you like the
Oh,
scary Nosferatu vampire. They really dig into like the creepiness of that version of Dracula. It's
oh,
so gross.
that's what I mean. I could tell you. Okay, so I saw the trailers. I saw the early trailer, and I thought, oh my god, there's a bunch of CGI in this, and that was my first impression. So I was a little turned off of it. Then I saw later trailer, which didn't seem to have any of that, and it was all about what you don't see. Like I could tell that the movie is sort of geared towards the mystique or the mystery of it. So I'm really excited about that too.
Yeah, they have their CGI, but Javier Botet, who plays Dracula, is awesome as the vampire and like the transformation and like embodying that creepy vampire. So it's awesome.
Awesome. Okay, well
Anyway,
that's very encouraging. But speaking of playing vampires, I did think Nick Cage was awesome Dracula. I thought he was fucking great.
it was so fun.
Yeah,
Like
it was-
campy and silly, but I loved it.
yeah,
But let's talk about the movie The Breach that you are.
yeah.
Well, I would love to know how you kind of got involved in this project first. Did you come on as executive producer first? Did you come on as musician first? Like, what was that process getting involved?
I came on as producer first.
Okay.
Rodrigo Guadino, who's he directed it, and he also basically wrote the screenplay. And he called me up because we've been friends for a long time, and he called me up and asked me to check out the script. He thought I'd like it, and so I read the script. I thought this is great. So he goes, "You want to make it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I would love to make this." And it went from there. But the funny thing, I mean, it wasn't so funny at the time, is we hooked up with Raven's Banner, and we had it all getting ready to go, and then we ran into COVID.
Oh,
I
the
thought that
story
was
of so many indie horror movies and horror movies in general is the COVID stuff.
I definitely thought that was the death knell, but we managed to get it done. And so that's one of the things I'm really proud of it. A lot of long distance stuff, a lot of even when I got involved doing the music, I was working with a composer who was like in Germany, and we were talking over email, and it was just like, you know,
It's kind of cool that like we've learned how you can do some of this remotely. I know you can't do all of it, but it is kind of cool.
I mean,
The
I would rather not do
creativity.
any of it remotely, but under the
Oh yeah.
circumstances, the fact that you have the option to do it remotely under when you're stuck in a tight spot, it's great. But the cool thing about the movie was it was shot in I can't remember what the name of the forest is, but a forest in Ontario.
Yeah.
It's a small little motel location there, and they ended up taking the relatively small cast and the crew, a couple of the producers, and made the whole movie, and they all just stayed in this one location and shot the whole movie there. They built the exteriors around the motel and the interiors and all that, and there was no staff at the hotel because it was COVID. So as far as I was told, Anthony Hunt cooked everybody's meals, so he cooked for the whole thing. So it was great. It's like some
Family kind of situation.
uh,
So did you ever go on set, or because of COVID you weren't able
no,
to go out
I
there?
couldn't even. That was like really like the beginnings of COVID. It was
Yeah.
couldn't go anywhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what like attracted you to this story of like what about it was so interesting for you to get involved with it?
Well, I mean, it was definitely something that the sort of slow burn thing is probably one of my. I love a drama. I love
Cool.
and I love the character development and the story, to have like a real story that you start to invest in that before all the shit starts going crazy. But
Yeah.
for me, a good horror movie is a drama that has this horrific element to it.
Yeah.
I don't like movies that are just, this is going to be a horror movie. Everything's scary and this is how it goes. I mean, sometimes that works, but I mean, for the most part, the most compelling thing for me is to get sucked into a story that goes terribly wrong for whichever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think Dracula is almost a good example of that,
Well,
you know?
yeah, especially like the book, it's all told in the letters and it all seems very like
Yeah,
normal, just like long distance relationship stuff. Then all of a sudden there's just, a casual vampire trying to move to London. Yeah,
yeah.
it's true.
Yeah.
Wow.
So so I was attracted to that part of the story. And there's something, and I've said this a couple times and it probably will not make sense to anybody, but there's a certain reanimator vibe to it towards the end. And
Oh,
I think it might just be maybe just sort of the 80s humanoid horror monster kind of vibe.
but there's like
Uh,
the mad scientisty vibe towards the end
yeah, that and that
too.
was the
Like it's like
scientist.
got that. Yeah, I
That's
see
that's
that.
that's what I was leading up to. So there was an '80s thing that attracted. I used to work in a video store in the '80s when all the big that was like the big decade for modern horror stuff. And so I was the manager, the night manager of Tower Video
No
during.
way.
Yeah, so I ran all this stuff on the monitors. Like people used to come in just to hang out there at night because I played everything they wouldn't play during the day.
What did you
And
play? I have to know. What
well,
did you?
I
First,
mean, I mean everything from
everything.
Faces to Reanimators.
Just casual faces of death and Tower
You know,
Video.
there was so many movies coming out at that time.
Yeah. Good.
I'm trying to fuck, the what was it? The guy that all the chemicals spilled on him and he's running around killing everybody and he
Toxic
oh
Avenger?
Toxic Avenger.
Yeah, from Trauma. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, just anything I could get my hands on. I remember I played, and I actually got in trouble for this, but I played the Amazonian fucking
Cannibal Holocaust?
Cannibal Holocaust. Cannibal Holocaust. I played that. Yeah. So, but I never got fired. I kept my job. I was a decent manager. That's why.
That'll help. That'll
I was
help.
kept the drawers and shit.
But
But
going back to the breach though, like are there certain like moments that you were able to score that you were really proud of or that you were really excited about kind of the tone you were able to strike with the music?
well, I mean, I wrote this one main theme that
Okay.
really sort of kicks in the very beginning. So
Okay.
I was most proud of that because that was something that I was working long distance with this really, and I can't remember his name, but it was definitely sort of German kind of name, and I just can't remember it because it was so left of center in its pronunciation. But he was really cool, and we emailed back and forth trying to communicate our thoughts, right, and sending tapes
Whoa.
back and forth and all that, and we managed to construct what I thought was a really cool idea based off of this riff that I had. And so there was that first thing, and then there was another element of that towards the end. But it was also a couple acoustic bits that I did that I just recorded, and they're as is in the movie that were just sort of just influenced by the script initially. And so when I got the dailies, I wrote them to fit these couple different scenes, and they ended up going as is into the movie, and they sound really sort of organic and almost visceral kind of thing.
So I know that you've been a composer on things before, but was there anything about this process besides the COVID, that was different for you in terms of your thought process and like ideating around what kind of like instruments you use or what kind of like your process basically?
Yeah. I mean, you know what? I guess I'm not really what you call a scoring artist. I'm not
Yeah.
somebody who does that for a living. So
Yeah.
every time I get involved with something, it's a new adventure. There's nothing identical about the last one or the
Yeah.
one coming up. You just basically come up with some ideas based off of the concept and the story, and maybe the tone of what it seems to you, on
Yeah.
paper, and you just go for it from there, and you fit into however the production presents itself, how whatever format you're working with, and the instrumentation. Like I don't foresee writing a lot of uh, a horror thriller on guitar. I mean, I
Yeah.
can write guitar, but the end result, the instrumentation is not going to be guitar.
Yeah.
Do a lot of thinking about what that's going to be, how simple or how involved,
Okay.
the instrumentation is going to be. So
Cool.
everything is way different each time you go.
Do you want to keep composing, or do you like composing?
I love composing, especially with like, well, I love film composing because it takes me out of, when I write music for a band in mind or write a song on guitar that I
Yeah.
hear drums going to and this kind of thing, it's a different part of my brain. And I just discovered that I have this other part that I really enjoy that doesn't use this part. And
Oh,
sometimes I
cool.
wish this part would work on this side because, yeah. But anyway, I really dig that because I don't know what I'm doing, but I get a feel for it. And so, I mean, that's the magic of being able to, to be creative, as a musician or anything, is
Yeah.
when you just sort of go with however you feel and it takes
Yeah.
you where you go. And that's what doing this composing thing is like. So I plan on doing it as much as I can for anything that I'm involved with production wise.
Okay.
I have to write something for this TV production that I'm involved with. And I'm working again with a composer. And so I've got to send him my latest musical ideas so we can start putting that together. And it's something I need to be doing yesterday, actually. I try to piece all the ideas that I have in my mind together before I actually sit down and start recording, because the red light always makes you go blank.
Yep. Oh, it always
So,
does. You're like, I've forgotten everything I know. I don't know. Deadlines make my brain go, nope, I've never had a thought.
exactly. But yeah,
And
I do enjoy it.
that's awesome. And my last question for you is, I would love to know what movie you've seen, like a horror movie. It doesn't actually have to be a horror movie that has scarred you for life. Like, what was a movie that terrified you as a kid that like
Well,
changed?
actually, Cannibal Holocaust
Was
actually was.
it? Okay.
And then when Eli made the Green Terror, what was it?
Green
The Green
Inferno.
Inferno? I was like, that's Cannibal. Oh God, I was gonna live through that again. But I'm not working at Tower Video anymore, so I don't have that. Yeah. Anyway, but let's see. I always bring this up, and it's going to sound repetitive, but it's true. Was the first time I saw Night of the Living Dead, when it was pretty fresh. I mean, I think it had been out for a minute, but it was a double feature with The Exorcist. My mom
Oh my
took me.
God.
So The Exorcist had just came out. I think Night of the Living Dead had been out for a minute before that. And that movie at that age, that was the first horror movie, and I was fascinated with anything horror, science fiction, or whatever. But that movie like made me go, oh, I was scared. And so that had the most long lasting effect on me, I think.
Cool. Wow. That is what an incredible double feature too, of Night
I
of the
know,
Living Dead and The
because
Exorcist.
my mom and her girlfriend Susan, right? They're just like, I was in the back seat of an old 60s VW Bug, and just
That's
like,
fucking cool. Flash,
anyway.
thank you so much for chatting with me today about the breach and music. This has been so cool, and it's an honor to get to chat with you.
No, it was great talking to you, and hopefully I'll be able to keep you posted on other stuff when it starts coming out.
Yes,
Yeah.
please. That'd be so good. Well, thank you so much, and have a lovely rest of your day. I really appreciate it.
Take care.
Thanks.
Cheers.